When you see get money, let us know what you about in here. We hear these niggas talking.
Nigga, get you out of here.
Man, get you out of here. We on a cash chase. Crash safe just to get $1 bill. See get money, let us know what you about in here. We hear these